Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I'm back. I'm doing day 4 now. So day 4 is about F your past. Now, this is a very good topic because it really is what's keeping a lot of people from experiencing a lot of positive things in life, especially love. So, so I wanted to incorporate this into my um, book because I think that a lot of relationship um, advice and things like that really focus on the root cause of a lot of problems that people have. It's more about like putting band-aids on it and using tactics and strategies. But at the end of the day, when you use tactics and strategies and you still like messed up on the inside, then you're still gonna attract like fuckboys and liars and cheaters to yourself, no matter what you try and implement on the outside. So I'm a holistic person. I'm not about giving strategies or tactics to, mind fuck men or, do things that will, you know, um, get you a call back or get your ex to come back and things like that. Like, I believe that none of those things, anything that I may suggest or anyone else may suggest, will really help you if your mindset and your internal um, vibration isn't high enough. So, um, so that's very important. It's very important to deal with stitching up and healing the wounds rather than just like, hey, let me just put a band-aid on it and go on my day, not checking, not putting no antibiotics on it, nothing to try to make sure it doesn't get infected, right? So today, day 4, is about um, digging deep down and really getting to the root of your problems and why you are not experiencing the love that you want. Because it doesn't matter what you do on the outside, if you're not right on the inside, you will never ever have the relationship or the man you want. So it always begins within. And this is especially true when I work with my clients. It's all about the inner work. It's not about giving them strategies or tactics with men to, get a call back or get him to do anything. It's none of that, because none of that stuff is just a temporary fix and it's not going to work in the long term. So today is F your past. So it says, I'm going to start with my quote. So, to err is human, to forgive is divine. Alexander Pope. So F your past. Now what I mean by F your past is forgive your past. Forgiveness. Today we're going to talk about forgiveness. A lot of women do not have the love that they want because they're still bitter and resentful and angry about a past situation or a past man who did them wrong or did them dirty. And they cannot let it go. Remember I talked about this the other day about feeling emotions and then moving on, not getting stuck. A lot of people do not have the relationship or anything else they want in life because they're stuck and they're not able to move on. You have to have a free flowing energy in order to receive something, because everything is a circle. You give, you receive, you give, you receive. And if you have this stuck energy, you cannot give nor can you receive. At least not what you want. You may be able to give and receive lust. You may be able to give and receive um, what is the other word I'm trying to think of? Infatuation. There we go. Infatuation with someone. You may be able to give those feelings, but you can never really give true love if you have that stuck energy, because you cannot give or receive anything you don't have. So if you don't have love, you can't get. If you don't have love within yourself, you can't give it to someone else. And on the same token, if you don't have love within yourself, you can't receive it from anyone else. So this is why a lot of times people end up in situationships and maybe even relationships, but it never really blossoms into anything or really has a deep, meaningful connection, because neither party has any love within them. And the thing is, if you don't have love within you and you're not able to, um, if you don't have love within you, you're going to attract someone who doesn't have love to give you. That person isn't going to be able to give you something because people can't give you anything that you don't at least aren't vibrating at. So no one can give you love if you're not already vibrating at love. So there's this cliche about self-love and stuff like that. It's more than cliche. It's very true. If you don't love you, or the saying is like, if you don't love you, nobody else will love you. And this is so true. Because if you don't love you, not only will nobody else love you, but they cannot. It's not possible for anyone else to love you, maybe besides like God and your mama. But outside of those people, it's not really possible for anyone to love you if you don't love you. And you also cannot love them if you don't love you. So this is why forgiveness is important, because forgiveness releases that blockage and that stuck energy that you have. And it allows you to be able to give and receive love. Because when you are angry, bitter, resentful towards another person, you are also angry, bitter, and resentful toward yourself. Even if you play the victim and say, no, I didn't do nothing, it was all him. At the deep core, you're also angry, bitter, and resentful at yourself. Because like I said, as I've stated, I don't know if I've said before that relationships and men are your mirror, right? And as I stated right now, in order to get love from a man, you have to already have it within you, and you have to have it within you in order to give it to him. So that is what a mirror is. A mirror shows you what is exactly is there, what is looking back at it. So that's what a man in a relationship does as well. It mirrors back to you what is already going on inside of you. So if you don't like the type of men that you're attracting, if you don't like the type of men that are coming into your life, then it's not them that's the problem, it's you that's the problem. And you have to look at yourself. And this isn't like a bashing comment, but it's the truth. Because we vibrate at a certain level, and then we attract those other people who vibrate at that same level. So if you keep attracting a certain type of man, at some point you have to realize that you're the common denominator, right? And you have to do the needed inner work to make a change. So this is why forgiveness is important. So this today is all about forgiving. So I have an exercise in here about forgiving, and I've had people message me and tell me how freeing this exercise has been to them. I've had people in my Facebook group talk about how freeing this exercise is to them. Finally forgave their baby daddy, finally forgave their ex-husband, finally forgave, some dude that messed them over, a year ago or something like that. So when you don't forgive someone and you hold on to bitterness, especially with men in relationships, you're still going to attract that type of person into your life again and again until you let it go. So if you don't forgive your ex for cheating on you, you're most likely, now this isn't 100%, but most cases, I will say the next guy you talk to, he's going to cheat on you. He's going to be a cheater. And then you're gonna start to feel like, well, all men are cheaters. You have that feeling. When reality is not that all men are cheaters, it's the men that you're encountering are cheating because you haven't let it go. You haven't started to vibrate at a different level. You're still vibrating down here. And that's why only the men who are also down here can come to you. Men who are up here, who have integrity and don't cheat and tell the truth and want to commit and stuff like that, they're up here, but they not coming down here to you. You got to rise up to them. You got to come up here with them. And so this is something to pay attention to. Like, we need to, this is why taking accountability is very important in dating. You know, it's very important in relationships that you take accountability. You have to start with you. What did Michael Jackson say? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Because as my favorite New Age teacher says, Neville Goddard, every man is yourself pushed out. Every man, as in mankind, because every man and woman is yourself pushed out. So if you're having, and this, I'm talking about relationships, but this is true in any type of relationship you have with a person. So friendships, family, you know, like I said, co-workers, bosses, all this is the same thing. Like, if you keep attracting certain types of behaviors from people, that means that you're vibrating at that behavior. You know what I'm saying? If you keep attracting people who betray you, people who gossip about you, people who talk bad about you, at some level you're vibrating that. So some people think, oh, well, I need to cut this person off. Okay, I'm gonna cut this person off. I'm gonna cut this person off. You can cut all those people off, and then the next people you meet still gonna do the same thing. So it's a different person, but the same situation, because the lesson hasn't been learned. And that's how life works. If you don't learn a lesson, you will continue to encounter it until you do. So a lot of people never advance in life because they never learn the lesson and move on. So if you don't learn the lesson that you're supposed to be taught, that you're, whatever lesson is supposed to be taught for your life, because everyone has a different life path. So whatever you're supposed to learn in your life, if you don't learn the lesson, you're going to keep encountering situations that's going to keep bringing up that lesson until you learn it. And if you never learn it, then you never get out that situation. You're always going to be stuck there. You're always going to experience men who don't want to commit, men who are liars, men who are cheaters, men who are narcissists, manipulators, broke, all those things, until you do the inner work to change who you are. So like Michael Jackson said, start with the man in the mirror. And this is why forgiveness is so important, because when you forgive another person, you also forgive yourself. And when you forgive yourself, you can forgive another person. Like, it's a circle, it's a mirror, like they say, the circle of life. So really, when I know everyone isn't religious, but I like to use the Bible for examples. Now, Jesus said, love every man as yourself, right? So basically what that means, a lot of people think that means that, you should treat people how you want to be treated. And in a sense, it does mean that, because there is a verse that says treat people how you want to be treated, right? But it's deeper than that, because literally how you treat someone else is how you're treating yourself. Literally. So that's why he is saying, like, love your neighbor as yourself, because when you love someone else, you are loving yourself. You know what I'm saying? And when you love yourself, you are able to love someone else. So you cannot love another person if you don't love you. Like I said earlier, you can have feelings of infatuation, you can have feelings of lust, you can have feelings of fondness of this person, but the true deep meaning of love, you cannot love another person if you don't love yourself. And another person cannot love you if you don't love yourself either, or if they don't love themselves. So like I said, if you're a woman who doesn't love yourself, you're going to attract men who don't love themselves. And two people who are empty are not able to fill each other up. It's like, he dry and thirsty and you dry and thirsty. So y'all both parched and you can't help each other. So you have to do the inner work first, because like I stated, in life, everything is a lesson. Every person that comes into your life is a lesson. Some people are short-term lessons, some people are long-term lessons, but everyone who has substantiated amount of influence in your life, more than just like the person that you wave to as you're walking by. Like, those people don't really have an influence in your life. The person you talk to for a couple seconds on the bus stop, those people. But people who actually like have some type of impact in your life, like the people you date, the people you're friends with, your family, co-workers, bosses, people like that. that actually, like I just said, have impact in your life. So those people are all mirrors. They're all mirroring something that's going on within yourself in some way, and they're all teaching you a lesson. So, but this is even more true in romantic relationships, and that is really the purpose of a romantic relationship. A lot of people don't understand what the purpose of a romantic relationship is, and that's why they don't have success with them. A romantic relationship, the purpose of it is for growth. It's to grow, to be a better person for both people, both parties, to grow, for your spiritual, invisible self to grow, to experience life to the fullest and grow and learn the lessons together and evolve, right? But a lot of people think relationships are about sex, about money, about having someone to go on trips with, having someone to take selfies with on Instagram. Like, a lot of people don't have successful relationships and never will because they're stuck on the shallowness of a relationship. And a relationship isn't about any of that shallowness. Or it's about, oh, I want to have someone so I don't feel alone, or so I can show off to my friends that I got a man, all that type of stuff, or I need somebody to pay my bills, or whatever these other shallow reasons people want to be in relationships. That's not what a relationship is about. So if you're not ready for growth and to be a better person, then you don't need to get in a relationship. And the same thing with that person. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because if you're ready for growth, then you're going to be in a relationship with someone who's also ready for growth. So you don't have to, this is what I say, you never have to look outside of yourself, and you don't have to worry about men. So don't say, well, men nowadays don't do this. It's not about, it's men nowadays that you are attracting don't do X, Y, and Z. But there are plenty of men who do whatever you're saying that men don't do, you know? But you're not vibrating at the level to attract those type of men in your life, and that's the only reason why you're not meeting them. So, and a lot of this starts with because you haven't let go of the past. That is probably the biggest lesson that we need to learn as humans, is to move on. There's too much rumination. There's too much not being able to let go and let God, so to speak. We try to control things. We try to control other people. And when you can't control anyone else, you can only control yourself. And some people can't even control themselves. Some people have no self-control whatsoever. So, and then a lot of times, because they don't have self-control, they try and control other people. And it doesn't work like that. I mean, even if you did have self-control, you still can't control other people. But, a lot of people try to control people because they don't know how to control themselves. But you can't control anyone else. We all have our own path in life. And if you're in someone's life now, that means you're supposed to be in their life at this moment. It doesn't mean you're supposed to be in their life 5 years from now, 5 days from now, 5 months from now. It doesn't mean that. So, and when things end, it's time to move on and let it go. A lot of times people stay in relationships past the expiration date when it should have ended because they're afraid to let go and discover something new. And in those situations, you always lose and the other person loses as well, because the time is expired. It's over. It's done. It's a done deal. So now you're just on borrowed time until it crashes and burns. Because when something is over, it's over, and it's time to move on and let it go. And this is what I talked about in a couple other videos previously about feeling emotions healthily and moving on. Now, does that mean like if someone dies or you're in some extreme grief, it may take longer to grieve the situation? By all means, of course it will. It's not black and white when it comes to emotions, But at the end of the day, it's like it should be not a year later, 2 years later, you're still acting like the situation just happened. You know what I'm saying? It can affect you. You can still be sad. And, like a lot of times we lose our parents. And it's like, okay, 2 years later, I'm still not completely over it because that person had a very impactful and meaningful position in your heart, right? But you should not still be at the same position you were when it first happened. You still shouldn't be depressed. You still shouldn't be able to not move on with your life. You should not still be able to have healthy relationships and live a fulfilling life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you don't miss them. It doesn't mean that their role in your life is something that you don't honor. But you're not where you were. And it's the same thing with relationships. A lot of women, it's like you broke up with a dude, or he broke up with you 2 years later, and you still feel like it just happened. You're still hurt over it like it just happened. That right there is a blockage, and you're not going to meet anyone. You're not going to meet a new man until you let go of the old. I'm going to give another example from the Bible where it says, behold, I do a new thing. Do you not perceive it? The former things have passed. So, and I think this was probably like something that God was telling like the Israelites one of the times that he put them in slavery. Because they kept, he kept putting them in slavery because they were not listening to him, right? So like that was the way he was punishing them. But he was telling them, okay, I'm about to do something new for you guys. So I'm going to take you out of bondage, and you're going to go to like your promised land or whatever. So don't remember the former things. Don't remember your old life in slavery. Let it go and walk forward with me. Also, if you want to remember whether you believe in these stories or not, but the story of Lot's wife who was told not to look back. If you look back, you're going to, I don't know if he told her she's going to turn to salt. I think he did. Or that just what happened to her. I don't remember exactly if it was told to her that she would turn to salt if she looked back, or that just is what happened. But either way, he definitely said, don't look back. Like, you get it from your past. Don't look back. Keep going to your future. Though their past is burning, let it go. So Lot, Abraham, moving forward, running toward their future. And I guess she missed her past. She missed whatever was going on in her old town or whatever. And she looked back to her past. And as soon as she did, she turned into a pillar of salt. Now, it's not important whether you believe these stories or not. But the thing is there's lessons in them. The lesson is that when you're moving toward your future, you need to let go of the past. And the best way to let go of the past and not to still be affected by the past is to forgive. To forgive it. Forgive what your mistakes that you made. Forgive the mistakes that other people made, the men in your life made, or whatever your past men. Forgive them. Forgive yourself and release it. So I have an exercise in this book about forgiveness, with men, but it's also, forgiveness is a universal thing. So it's like, if you're not forgiving, you may have forgiven a man, but if you still hold grudges against your mama because she didn't do this for you when you were 16, or your daddy who was not around when you was growing up, if you still hold those grudges, it all works together. You have to have complete forgiveness in your life. You have to let things go because they all interconnect. Everything interconnects. So you may think, well, I feel like I've forgiven all the men in my life, but you didn't forgive your daddy who you never met. Or you didn't forgive your friend who, I don't know, slept with your boyfriend or something 2 years ago or something like that. Like, you have to forgive everyone because it's all interconnected. That is the lesson of life. Everything is interconnected. So you can't pick and choose who you want to forgive and think that you're going to have successful relationships with people. And one thing I want to say about this, and I try and remember this when I deal with people, is that we're all on earth and we're all trying to. You may feel like this person slighted you. You may feel like this person did you dirty, did you wrong, mistreated you, and maybe they did. I'm not trying to take that away from your experience, but they may see it differently. They may feel like, well, that was my only option at the time. Whether they were right or wrong, they may have a different perspective of why they did whatever they did. So at the end of the day, at that moment in time, they may have felt like that was my best option. And that's not excusing their behavior, but it's having compassion. Because at the end of the day, we have all done something wrong to some other human on the earth. You know what I'm saying? We have all done something wrong, offensive to some other human. So we cannot act like what I have done or what you did to me is worse than what I may have done to somebody else. Because honestly, the energy is all the same. If you wrong someone in any way, it doesn't matter if you deem like they're wrong worse than the wrong that you did by cutting that person off in the traffic. Like, okay, well, this is not as bad as this person cheating on me. And in human terms, maybe it's not, but an offense is an offense either way. In the spiritual world, an offense is an offense. I don't think there's really any offenses that are bigger than others. So it's like if you wrong someone, it doesn't matter if as a human you judge this as a small wrong and you judge this one as a bigger wrong. In the spiritual world, wrongs are wrongs. If you wrong someone, if you've offended someone, it doesn't matter if you've killed them, if you just cursed them out, if you lied to them. Like I said, if you stole a candy bar that was 50 cents and you didn't have the money for it and you had a legitimate reason for stealing it because you were starving. A wrong is a wrong, right? Now, as humans, our ego wants us to believe that other people's wrongs are worse than our wrongs, or certain wrongs such as killing people is worse than, lying to somebody. But that's not how the spirit world sees it. The spirit world sees all offenses as the same. So you need to forgive other people, no matter what relationship you have with them, because you need other people to forgive you because you've done something to somebody else. Like I said, you have. As soon as you came out the womb, you did something to somebody else. You smacked your mom in the face. You probably peed her when she was changing your diaper. Like, all those things are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may say, oh, I'm a baby, I was innocent. True. But the thing about it is, like, humanly you were innocent, right? Your human body had not formed to know certain things, but your spiritual self never ages. So the same age your spiritual self is, you're like your invisible self, it's been the same age since you came into fruitation. So when you were what's it called? Embryo. When you were an embryo, your spirit is the same age then as it is now. And it's going to be when you, however old you continue to get. The spirit doesn't age. The human form of you ages. So at the same time, like, in the spiritual world, it's like those offenses still count. Now, I'm not trying to get into like that type of stuff because that's different. That's a completely different topic. But those offenses still count against you. I'm just going to say that. So that's why you need to forgive and move on. Forgive, move on. Because at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. We've all done something wrong to someone else, and then someone else has done something wrong to us. And it's very ego for us to feel like what they did to me was horrible, and like, I would never do something like that. That's all ego. That's all ego, because you don't know what you would do. You may not have been in that situation with them, and maybe you won't do what they did, but that still doesn't make you better than them. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we forgive. And that's really what this is about. Because and I went on a spiritual thing with this, but forgiveness is a very spiritual thing. But spiritual things are really what affects the natural world. So, like I talk about vibrating, that's a spiritual thing. You're attracting people. You have invisible energy that is going out to other people, right? So, that invisible energy is what people read about you, and it lets them know that they can come to you. So like I said, if you're giving off this energy of certain things, then certain type of people are going to come off with you. And it depends. Like, I can't say like because you're attracting cheaters, but usually in those situations, something you're giving off that says it's okay for cheaters to come into my life. So it may be something like, maybe I don't believe that I deserve a man to be faithful to me or something like that. So you attract people who confirm that. Or maybe you believe like I don't deserve a man completely to myself, and consciously you may feel that's ridiculous. Of course I do, but subconsciously you do. So that's below the conscious awareness. You may experience things in your life and you subconsciously come to this belief that I don't deserve I don't deserve a faithful man, or I don't deserve to have a man by myself, or like men are cheaters or something like that. So you're going to keep attracting people who confirm your belief. Because as they say, there is no reality. The only reality is your perception. So whatever reality you think is true is true. And whatever reality you don't think is true is not true. So that's why some people can find evidence that there is a God and some people can't. Because the only reality is perception. So they believe there's a God, so there's going to be things that confirm that God exists to them. And then the people who don't believe in God, well, there's going to be things that confirm that there isn't a God to them. So the only reality in each person, they both have different realities, live on the same planet, but or yeah, different realities, but it's their perception that makes their reality real. So when your perception changes, your reality changes. So there's a lot of people who have converted from not believing there's a God to there is a God because somehow, some way, their perception was changed. And then therefore their reality changed. So the only way your reality will change is that your perception needs to change. And one of the key ways to do that is to forgive. Forgive, 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 because it's a releasing energy, and your spiritual invisible self will be free. And then you'll stop vibrating down here because bitterness and anger and all those negative emotions are down here. Down low. Low. Actually, more down here. They're way, way at the bottom. So you're going to attract men who are way down at the bottom who vibrate there. But the men who are up here, positive and faithful and have integrity and, don't cheat and want to commit and those things, those men are up here. But you can't get to them because you down here and you stuck in negative, resentful, angry, or whatever other issues you have because you haven't forgiven. So when you forgive, you allow your spirit to vibrate at a higher level up here, and you're able to attract men who are also up here. So that is the lesson for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Once again, the book that I'm going through, it is in the description. Join my Facebook group. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and comment. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.